Your work really is to be nice to yourself no matter what, and not need one other person to understand it or to join you in the niceness that you're being to yourself. That is your work, and so don't shy away from it. But do you know what keeps you from that more than all other things put together? Caring about how you are seen and understood by others. Whether they have the capacity to see you and understand you or not, you still worry about it. And when you get over that, momentum is just the law of attraction responding to your thought. And so momentum really is about trending. You hear that from your internet conversations. Are you trending on thoughts that feel good? Or are you trending on thoughts that don't feel so good? That's the essence of the conversation about momentum. Because momentum about what you want can't really get going if you're back and forth. And momentum about what you don't want can't really get going if you're back and forth. You hear that? So you want to choose that you want to feel good, and then pay attention to your emotions to know that you're trending. Momentum is about that. I want it, but that stops momentum. I really don't want it, but good things sometimes happen to me. That stopped that momentum. So we can't have a good conversation about momentum without talking about the direction of thought and the way the direction of the thought feels. And that's what trending is. So you could just say to yourself, how am I trending? Esther will say, I'm trending too busy these days. She knows it because she finds herself rushing. She finds herself not really enjoying the drive somewhere because she's having to make every possible turn and light count. That's not fun. And so she'll say, I can feel that I'm trending more toward action than is really my best work. Time for me to start trending more toward how I feel. Thinking about the thoughts that feel good. You can get more done about the things you really care about by staying off that subject altogether and by making lists of things that you feel really good about. Because you've already done step one. It's already in the vortex. Jerry used to say to Esther, you're working too hard and I don't know what to do about it. And Esther would say, help me. And he would say, that's not my style. That's not my style. And what he meant, he didn't mean, I want to help you work hard, Esther. He meant, I want you to figure out how to not work so hard, Esther. Think about the crowd you're playing to with that approach to life. You're calibrating to humans who need other humans to work hard because they don't want to. We're not kidding. Or who haven't discovered the leverage of alignment. They're well-meaning. We're not really after any of them at all. If you want to get stuff done, sometimes you just have to buck up and get it done no matter what your mood is. We get that. You can't not feed your kids just because you don't feel good in the moment. But the less you do under the duress of negative emotion, then the more power you feel. We don't need to have a conversation with you about much of anything, really. We can see your vortex is clear. You have been living life deliberately for a very long time. Our message to you is chill. Take it easier. Take it easier. Trust that it's coming. Faith, religious word, faith is annoying. Even the description of it, faith in what's not yet seen. And yet that really is what that vortex is. It's real, it's active, it's calling cooperative components, and you can't be one when you're under stress. You cannot be a cooperative component when you're mad at somebody, when you're trying to explain something to somebody that they're never going to get no matter how many times you explain it. Look at all the seeming barriers that exist among human interactions. There's the language barrier. There's the cultural barrier. This is spoken from physical human point of view. There's the demographics barrier. There's the educational barrier. There are so many things that people have put in their way that make them not able to talk to each other, but there is something that is bigger and more encompassing than all of those things, and that's the vibrational thing. Now, there can be vibrational barriers for sure, but when you're tuned into who you are and feeling good, most of the time, you break down all those barriers because now you're speaking the language of every one of their inner beings. And there's not a human on the planet who doesn't from time to time stumble into alignment with their own inner being. Most don't do it on purpose, but there are a lot of that going on. So strong words to you. Stop trying to explain yourself to others. Yeah, they don't get it anyway. We just told you the ultimate story of overcoming. Forget about everything except vibration. Because vibration alignment overcomes everything. It overcomes everything else. And the more you are trusting, that's faith. It's like the person who puts the seed in the ground, can't see it for a long time. It's just dirt there. But there's something going on. There's intelligence already in motion. And after a while, it's going to show itself and it's going to grow if it's nurtured. And it's going to be something that manifests. But there's a lot that goes on before the manifestation is evident. Transformative experiences will come from everywhere. That's what we were talking about the cooperative components. You're not just going to get it here. This is just a meeting room with a lot of cooperative components, but you are the point of your attraction. And your inner being is the point of your attraction. And when you harmonize with that, that's the transformative experience. Transformation never ends. You're an infinite being, an eternal being. So you want to make it a priority how you feel. We talked about this a little bit ago. Make it a priority of how you feel. And then you're in alignment, so you have all those resources. And then you don't have to first encounter with someone, teach them how to do that. You're just doing it in a way that they're going to feel their alignment because you're in alignment and you're focused upon them. Words don't teach. But there's a tendency as a teacher, healer, intuit, to want to find a problem and solve it. That's the opposite of how this universe works. Which leads us to something that we want to say to all of you. We've been waiting for the perfect moment to say it to you, and that is step back and get a look at the whole picture. And in doing so, talking to everyone, feel less inclined to worry about what anybody else is doing. Less inclined to worry about what anybody else is doing. Because they're doing their part whether you know it or not. They have guidance whether you understand it or not. And what you all want. There isn't anything that any of you now or ever, before or later, nothing that anyone wants that is for any reason other than you believe you will feel better in the having of it. And if you can just flip that a little bit and go for the feeling better of it now, it will lead you to the letting in of all of the details of the things that you want. People write to us in huge numbers of concern because I am alone, or I am lonely, or my lover left, or my lover hasn't come yet, or my lover's here but we're not getting along, or I want more money than I have, or I want more purpose. In other words, there are so many people standing in a place of observation of what is, actually believing that if they could just find a way to fill that one void, that then they would be happy. And again we explain, find a way to be happy, and all those voids fill themselves. But it never works the other way, only for a little bit of momentary something or other, which just breeds and feeds the competitiveness that you have with each other. You are points of attraction, and the universe is aware of you. And the same energy that creates worlds is flowing to you. It's like it's raining down all around you, but you've got your umbrella up for reasons of observation of what's going on that prevent you from letting a little more of it in now, and a little more of it in now, and a little more of it in now. And so things like responsibility, it's not about responsibility. It's not about earning. It's not about making things happen. You already did that. You were born, you saw, you wanted, you built a vortex, you made things happen. Now your work is to let what you've made happen be realized by you. And when a bunch of you get together in a nonprofit or whatever kind of an organization you're founding, when a bunch of you get together understanding these very core principles, things are working out for us if we just stay out of the way. Wanting it is really enough. Proving ourselves worthy is what gets in the way. Condemning others for the benefits that they are receiving gets in our way. Taking score of where we are gets in the way. Paying attention to others getting more than what we think is their fair share gets in the way. There's not a finite pie that you are divvying up. It's an infinite pie that you are creating even as we are speaking here together today. So we're just saying to you, you've created this endless pies with the capacity to feed you in so many ways. You just got to chill out and let more of it in. And don't worry, it won't make you lazy. It won't make you disrespectful of source energy. It will validate the thing that you are mostly looking for, even in this room. It will validate your sense of worth. It will validate your worthiness. It will not only validate your worthiness, it will validate your awareness of the worthiness of others. And friends, that's where freedom comes from. That's where freedom comes from. Until you are able to let go of what you push against, you can't have what you deserve. I'll leave you with a brief rampage of awareness of you, of who you are. This is our perspective of you. This is who we know you to be. You are at the right place in the right time to satisfy the intention that you held when you made the decision to come forth into this physical body. Nothing that you've ever experienced has gone wrong. All of it has either been a step 1 or a step 3 part of your journey. And your inner being is happy for each and every experience that you have lived. If you can work yourself into that appreciation for those things, you'll be in a steady collaboration with your inner being, who adored every single thing you've lived and who adores every single thing that you now are. This is the ultimate way of you making ultimate peace with who you are, not in a I'm making peace with something that is less than what it should be, but in the ultimate way of making peace with the all that you are. We would like to explain it to you in words, but there's no way. So maybe you'll get some rivers of energy flowing through you. But the non-physical that you have been trying to define and trying to experience and trying to understand and trying to get your thoughts around is celebrating like we have never experienced it celebrating before because of this combination of collective human minds that has come together today. You don't even understand the important part that you've put into this co-creation. It's time for you. It's time for you. It's time for you to start cashing in your vibrational chips. It's time for you to give yourself the gift of freedom, which comes from only one place, which is the releasing of resistance. Sometimes you'll release it in a great big wad and you'll have a great big relief. And sometimes it'll just be some little thing that you flick off your shoulder. But every single time you do it, there will be a celebration that you will, at some level of your being, feel. Esther feels rivers of goosebumps start at her toes and come up to the crown of her head over things that she knows don't matter to hardly anybody. But she gets the pleasure of our pleasure over and over and over again because life is supposed to feel good. There's great love here for you. And for now, we are complete.